Hello, YouTube and YouTube Katana Sword community. I know it's been a while since I made a video, and I want to apologize to you right up out the gate about that. But I also want to talk to you guys about that L6 Hitatsura Hammond Murasame custom Shinogi katana. Today, while we're here, I want to also talk to you about a couple other swords. The first is this Amazon 10T steel, what was formerly a Red Knight. I'll have the name for you later, but now it's a lion dog tiger themed katana, T10 steel, found on Amazon. And of course, as you all know, the my Murasame's custom L6 Unikubi Zukuri. While sadly, I no longer have that L6 Hitatsura Tiger. While I believe it was an original, like this Murasame custom Unikubi L6, I had to return that one. Now, I want to say that Schwan makes absolutely beautiful and stunning katanas and swords. Well fitted, well built for the most part. They're well built. I just have issues with the Hammond, the hardness of the edge on that sword. And we'll get into that. But I'd like to say that no two loaves of bread are the same. Same can be said about steel, sword steel, and how they're heat treated, and how well that tempering takes place. So yeah, as we're talking, so no one's questioning Schwann's ability to make a sword and its quality as far as fit and finish and looks, and most of the time for its hardness on its edge. But the edge, this one just wasn't, I don't believe, as up to par as its looks. Now, the edge of a good Hitatsura Hammond, if heat treated well, shouldn't really be any softer than the edge of a differentially tempered piece of steel. Where the only difference really should be is where there's less clay on the spine when he goes to harden it, instead of just as a differentially hardened, it's a lot more caked up along the spine than along the edge. Now, on a Hitatsura, they've removed some of that claying on the spine. So the spine gets more heat treated, gets harder like the edge. Now, Schwan ain't putting more clay along the edge because that would make the edge soft, right? So the edge should be still at a 60 Rockwell to 70, to a 59 to 60 up to 63 possibly HRC hardness, Rockwell hardness on that edge, and since it's more thoroughly hardened because it's Hitatsura Hammond, it should be more like a thorough hardened piece of steel and be even stronger. It should be less likely to take a bend and set. So even though it has a beautiful scattered Hammond, it really should not affect the edge. So looking at the damage I see, and I'll insert some pictures. Looking at the pictures, we see more bending than chipping. And that suggests to me that steel didn't get heat treated properly, hardened enough. Now, let's say that edge was properly heat treated and was like excessively hard, but was thin and had didn't have enough meat or nuku, it would have chipped and blown out. Now, on the opposite side, if in this case, if it wasn't properly heat treated enough or didn't get hard enough, it would have remained soft. And this is important because this suggests that the steel wasn't hardened sufficiently, which is why it took a role in this case. In contrast, this T10, Amazon T10, cheap, $200 Amazon lion dog that I've customized. For 200 bucks, it's differentially hardened. Took the corner clean off a 4x4 treat post, made it look like a skill saw blew through it. Very clean, no damage to the sword whatsoever. And that's cheap, $200 Loquan China steel. And this is, supposed to be $600 Loquan steel too. Keep in mind that it's just has got that scattered Hammond on it. The edge should not be any less hard. It should still be plenty hard on that. Only difference being, once again, it should be less apt to take a set because it'd be more thoroughly hardened, as you can see. So Mr. Schwann had originally suggested the pricing the sword at this L6 Hitatsura Tiger at over $600. Upon my review, I paid $400 for it as a one-of-a-kind piece at the time. But he now has stock versions. He's offered me like some of this. He's got a stock version of it now that's a lookalike as like this here. He has a lookalike now. The Tsuba, it's got a very similar Tsuba. The handle, the Tsuka has got it's got Hinamaki wrap instead of this battle wrap you see, and the Saya is just a glossy black, I believe, but he kept the Sageo. But it's basically a look-like to that, and he's got it now backdated on his site back to 2021, similar as he's done to this. The only difference being on this one, he put a black Sageo on it. Otherwise, it's the look-alike. So when I got a hold of him, I told him about it taking there was a chip on the Kasaki on unboxing. He's just rubbing it off, but I paid it no mind. Just figured, not a big deal, and yeah, I used it. I made a cutting video, and I'll have that. That'll show the actual damage of the sword when it took place. But he suggested rubbing it off, and the amount of rolling that took, since I imagine it was soft, it never got hard enough. I was hesitant to try to fix that much damage on the edge, at fear of destroying that polish, that high polish finish on it, and being somewhat green on it, I didn't want to just wreck it and trying to put an edge on it. And if I did, I figured that being soft steel, even if I did fix edge on it, if I hit something similar and hard with it, it would just blow it out again and it would be wrecked again. So if I'd have known at the time when I first bought it and first had it in my possession, I probably would have designated it as a pure pool noodle cutting katana, not meant for medium light targets. I have a little footage here of a jug that I used as a cutting target, and I'll show you that now. Sustained on a relatively light target, which is this jug right here, and I have video footage that I'm going to have cutting, and I'll show you the damage when it happened on this target. And I believe it was on the cap when it happened, which is fairly thin plastic. And I've blown through harder, thicker plastic with cheaper steel, T10 similar. Okay, so if it took that kind of damage on that jug, it just would have, I figured that it would have took it again, even if I refinished the edge, And being green, I didn't feel that comfortable with putting a new edge on it without destroying the finish. So, funny enough, though, after giving it a great deal of thought after doing the return, actually designed a sharpener, and I will be making a video of that coming up. And I know if I know now, if I would have known now and had that sharpener, I would have probably fixed edge on it and still designated it as a pool noodle only cutting sword. I did not expect it to take that kind of damage cutting that thin plastic that you saw on that cat litter jug. Because that L6 Hitatsura was actually something I wanted to create memory of my cat George. He was a blind kitten that me and a brother of mine found leaving my folks' house late one night, getting ready to get in the vehicle, and heard this little, cat crying, just raising bloody murder. It was looked over, and there it was running across the road, and it was late, and he ran right into a ditch. And my brother looked at me, and he's like, "There's something wrong with that cat." So we go walk over to it, pick it up out of the ditch, and he's about a handful. And sure enough, George is blind. So I was like, "Oh man!" So I took it over to my folks, and my dad saw it, and he's like, "Well, damn your eyes!" And just he fell in love with George right then, and he became my dad's best little buddy for the remainder years of my dad's life until we lost my dad to cancer in 2012. George stuck around. He stuck around for 11 years after losing my dad, 11 years of me being on the road back and forth, working on the road, and he became my mom's companion and looked after her while I was out and doing work. Until the last job in Maui, and I was in Lahaina a week and a half before the Lahaina fires burned it down, and I come back home and basically lost my cat George a little less than 6 months later. In fact, it was the day of the October 14th, 2023 eclipse, and I had my telescope set up, and I got a couple pictures, and if I'm smart enough, I'll stick them in here too. After returning the one I had built for him, I decided to go ahead and customize this red with the Amazon T10 Red Knight, and I put a black and white theme on it. I felt suiting since it was an eclipse, and then it's ironic that the guard is a cat. It is the same cat that Murasame is using on his lookalike to this sword on his site that he's got backdated at 2021. But it was fitting to be a tribute to him because being losing him there on that day on the eclipse, it felt right. So. Anyways, he was a good little boy and spoiled, and we love him and we miss him very much. And so, yeah, of course, I wish I still had that one though. Even though with my concerns about the heat treat, but like we all know, you can take $600 and go to RVA Katana and find a S5 steel before tariffs, and so for $600, you got S5 steel. You can go ham on anything and beat on bricks and put an edge back on it. It's fine. It'll hold up. It'll take an edge and keep an edge. The L6 Hitatsura, it was too soft, and that's where my problem was. Even if I was to keep it for $200, it becomes a wall hanger, and a $200 wall hanger. I mean, I understand having a wall hanger, but it just it's not as described on site. It's supposed to be battle ready, be able to cut. I think he says he cut bamboo with it, but I don't know if I would. Samurai Bird, I would not try cutting it with it. If you do, good luck. It seems to be hit and miss. But on the flip, $200. Cheap 10T steel, basically similar guard as what's on this look like now for, you know, $200, blow through a 4x4 treated post and without damaging the sword. So $200 and works, and $200 supposed to work but becomes, you know, wall hanger, which I guess, I don't know. If I know, maybe I would have kept it as a pull noodle only. But being at the time, like I said, I just didn't feel safe and trust myself to not just wreck the finish on it. So I do have a review and kind of like a before and after, basically, of what it was and what I did to it, because it had totally different Tsuka on it, and a different color finish on it, so basically, and a different Sageo. And but this is the original guard, and I'll have like before and after pictures showing you how it went, and a review of that sharpener that I've built and sharpening that. So, and it's called, the original is a Amazon LQDSDJ1010 T10 Red Knight, and now I've made it a customized T10 lion dog tiger thing. So yeah, okay, so that basically brings me to the end finally. Woo! Anyways, a big shout out to Mr. Rizzo for his original review on this return, and thank you for everybody watching. And Mr. Rizzo, if you are watching and you decide to part ways with it, I would absolutely love the opportunity, the chance to get it back into the collection. Anyways, thanks everyone for watching. Like, subscribe, that'd be wicked. And take care. Be good to each other and have fun cutting. Yahtzee, be good.
So once the spline came off, the transmission spinning freely, you can go back in. Okay. How hard was it to get back in?
Did I? Thank you.